You walk into an average supermarket and you are immediately surrounded by roughly 40,000 different items. You pick out your toothpaste, your coffee, and the specific brand of cereal that fits your budget. You feel completely in control. That feeling is a psychological design feature known as the paradox of choice. Retailers intentionally pack shelves with hundreds of slightly different labels to induce decision fatigue. When the brain is overwhelmed by options, it stops looking for patterns, making it difficult to see the reality of what you're actually buying. This grid represents those 40,000 distinct items. Watch what happens when we map out where the money actually goes. The variety collapses into exactly 5 corporate pillars: Nestle, Procter & Gamble, Unilever, PepsiCo, and Coca-Cola. Behind the colorful packaging, almost every dollar you spend is funneled into these exact same entities. To understand the mathematical scale of these pillars, consider that Unilever alone produces items used by 3.7 billion people every single day. Meanwhile, Nestle consistently extracts over $100 billion in annual revenue from the global market. Your daily routine functions as a carefully engineered toll booth, where every habit requires a recurring payment to one of these giants just to exist. Take the snack aisle. You stand deciding between a bag of Doritos, Cheetos, Tostitos, or Ruffles. Selecting any of these bags is an exercise in intra-company margin optimization. Whether you choose the pretzels or the chips, the profits flow straight up to a single corporate umbrella, PepsiCo, specifically through its Frito-Lay division. The reason PepsiCo brands dominate the shelf is due to slotting fees. Supermarket shelves are not curated based on quality or taste. They are real estate, rented out to the highest bidder. The conglomerates pay exorbitant capital fees just to secure eye-level placement across thousands of stores. The Big Five use the massive, reliable cash flow from their most popular hero brands to pay millions in slotting fees. This financial leverage creates a barrier that physically blocks independent challengers from ever securing physical shelf space. Before the automatic doors of the grocery store even slide open for you, the sheer capital power of these conglomerates has already narrowed your field of vision. These 5 conglomerates have designed specific economic traps for every single income bracket. For low-income earners, the strategy relies on calorie density and volume. Ultra-processed essentials are engineered for high-velocity consumption and low cost. Because of this, massive amounts of government SNAP subsidies flow directly into PepsiCo and Nestle, converting food stamps into steady corporate revenue. The middle class faces a hygiene tax. Companies like Procter & Gamble and Unilever slowly add annual inflationary padding to daily essentials like toothpaste, soap, and deodorant. Middle-income consumers reliably pay 15 to 25% premiums over identical private label equivalents for the psychological comfort of a familiar logo. You might believe you've escaped this by choosing independent, ethical, or organic brands. That brings us to the conscious consumer decoy. The massive conglomerates often let independent startups take on the initial research and financial risk of building an ethical brand. This funnel shows how the extraction works across demographics. When an indie brand succeeds, like Ollie, 7th Generation, or Blue Bottle, the giants quietly acquire them. They keep the original packaging, charge a 40 to 60% markup to high-income earners, and route that capital right back into the exact same central reservoir. Attempting to vote with your dollar is a mathematical illusion. Every demographic spending path is systemically routed right back to the same 5 bank accounts. Eventually, these companies hit a ceiling. In a saturated market where prices cannot easily go higher, the Big Five maintain revenue growth through shrinkflation, reducing product weight, and skimflation, substituting cheaper, lower-quality ingredients. Recent data highlights their market power. These conglomerates have reported record profit margins, even while the total volume of products sold declined, proving they can extract more money for less product without fear of consumer defection. If these 5 companies control the entire board, why don't they aggressively undercut each other on price to win the market? This organizational chart shows where the lines of power actually converge. At the very top, the top institutional shareholders for all 5 companies are exactly the same 3 entities: Vanguard, BlackRock, and State Street. This is the reality of common ownership. When the same investment firms own massive stakes in both Coca-Cola and PepsiCo, or Unilever and P&G, aggressive price competition is disincentivized. The network pulses in unison. The system is optimized for synchronized margin expansion rather than competition. This structure replaces independent rivalry with a landscape of shared interests, where the dominant players grow their margins in lockstep. The physical supermarket shelf is rapidly becoming obsolete. Between 2026 and 2030, the retail landscape will undergo a transition that makes today's corporate control look primitive. We are entering the era of predictive AI and retail media networks. Retailers and the Big Five are currently pooling vast amounts of consumer data to eliminate static pricing entirely. Soon, the cost of basic goods like detergent will no longer be a fixed number. It will algorithmically fluctuate based on your personally harvested data, wrapping around your exact maximum willingness to pay on any given day. By the 2035 horizon, auto-replenishment systems and smart pantries will likely achieve mass penetration. When your household restocks itself automatically, the physical moment of active choice is deleted. The modern consumer is no longer a sovereign decision-maker. As this technology advances, you are becoming a heavily optimized, recurring revenue stream locked inside an invisible corporate ecosystem. To uncover how these exact multinational strategies dictate supply chains and lower the quality of the food on your plate, watch The Global Food Monopoly, Investigating Corporate Control.